Oh, goodness gracious. Oh! Greetings and salutations, Fritz. It's time for something new. Tim? I don't like change. Well, too f***ing bad. Why does it do that? Oh. You know. Ah. Well, I'm still gonna use potty language. I'm just gonna beep out the words. Okie dokie, artichokes. In an effort to make more content, I came up with an idea. You see, I need a way to play a lot of these games behind me, and, as I said before, to create more content. To pad out the space in between my normal content. So I figured, why the hell not? I call this fun little creation of mine the best of 3. But you're playing 9 games. True. But in groups of 3. Here's how this is gonna go down. Either myself or my friends are gonna pick 3 games off these shelves behind me from my modest collection, and then I'm going to play those games for a small amount of time. Probably around 30 minutes to an hour. Starting levels. Stuff like that. 30 minutes isn't a lot of time, Tim. How are you going to judge them based upon that alone? If you let me finish, I'd get to that. Fine, you know what? I don't like change anyways. You can handle this. I'm gonna take a shit. Anywhoozle, I'm going to play those games for a short amount of time, and then based upon that information, I'm going to declare a winner of the respective trio. There is only one rule, however. All 3 of the games have to be from the same console, because I gotta have some kind of consistency. Or rule. Competitions have rules. Now, I will be scoring each game on a strict and thorough rating system that I have devised myself. Ranging from something good to dog shit. In addition to my strict scoring system, I will also be placing them into one of 3 categories. Get it? 3. Ha! Possibly expand upon later. Will definitely expand upon later. And never plan on touching it again. Unless somebody picks it. And don't you worry your pretty little heads. I'm gonna keep track of my bullshit rating system, so you don't have to. First game we're gonna take a look at today is this nightmare from my childhood. Croc. Legend of the Gobos. Goobos. Chicken nuggets. I'm going to start off by talking about all the things I like about this game. Which is ironic, because there's only 3. 1, the music's nice and snazzy, so that's a plus. And then Croc says some hilarious things when he attacks, like kerpow and kersplat. And the game is nice and colorful. Now, there is a very large gripe about this game. And if you've played this game before, you probably already know what that big gripe is. And if you're somebody who's never played this game before, you're not missing anything. And if you're someone who happens to really like this game and this is your jam, it's okay. It's okay. We forgive you. It's a platforming game. Now, I want you to imagine a good platforming game for a moment with excellent, smooth, like butter controls. Like Mario 64, or Spyro the Dragon, or any other good platforming with decent controls. Now, I want you to imagine playing that exact same game, but with tank controls. Congratulations, you've played Croc. Now this next little tidbit of information is for all you youngsters out there. You see, back in the PlayStation N64, what else was there? That generation of consoles, when you put the game in the console and you let it sit there for a little bit, it would go into a demo section. Now, I didn't play very much of this game. In fact, I only got to the Whack-A-Chicken guy. But, I can tell you right now, I can't imagine playing an ice level with croc controls. Perhaps the definition of irony is these little platforms they put inside the game, because once you jump on them, you control them as you would a normal platforming game by just moving the stick. Why didn't you just make the whole game like this? If you'd made the whole game with smooth butter controls like this platform, maybe we'd be talking about Croc instead of Mario 64. Bottom line, you're not missing anything if you've never played this game. But, it's not the worst game I've ever played. No. I'm putting this in the... You know what? I'm gonna put this in the possibly later category. Because I think I could get some more sillies out of this game. As for the score, I'm gonna give it a... not dog shit. Next game we're gonna take a quick look at is this neat little game called 40 Winks. Which, I shit you not, it says on the case, and I quote, "Move over, Mario. Nintendo official magazine. June 1999. On a PlayStation game." I'm pretty sure this was also released on the N64, but that's pretty funny. I only ever played this game as a child on a demo disc that also had 101 Dalmatians, Jet Moto, and Spyro 2. Pretty sure. Along with various other trailers for upcoming titles. And I honestly have the same opinion now that I had back then when I played it. It seems kind of fun in an average kind of pick up, I'm really bored and play kind of way. Which is perfectly fine. We can't all be spectacular. Some of us just have to be normal. Luckily, I'm not one of those people! A plus is that it definitely controls better than Croc. You begin the game by choosing to play as one of two characters, rough or tumble. They begin by bitching because their mother is trying to get them to go to bed, as children do. And they start talking about hoodwinks and something else. I don't remember. But naturally, the whole game takes place inside of a dream world. Not dream weavers. Because I'm pretty sure that world would kill these small children. It seemed kind of fun, and it seemed like it had a little bit more to offer, so I'm going to place it in the possibly later category with Croc. And score it a not dog shit. And finally, we have this first trio's clear winner. Rayman. Not only does Rayman win this first face-off, it's about to win every category I'm about to make up. Gameplay, colorful, fun, music. Yeah, Rayman is fantastic. And I'm putting it in the definitely expand upon later category and scoring it with a fantastic, but asterisk, hard as shit. Back when I first played this when I was an itty bitty baby Tim, I would fly into a rage after the mosquito guy. I didn't play too much of it this time, but I didn't really have to because I've played it before, so I was a bit spoiled. Maybe I'm being a bit biased, but Rayman's definitely better than Croc and 40 Winks. Now the winner of the next three games isn't so clear-cut. I say three, but it's really only between two because the third game is about as average can possibly be. First game on that list is called Fighting Force, otherwise known as Smasher Smashes. Literally, all the things. This is a classic arcade style beat 'em up, and you got 4 characters to choose from. Hawk, Valeria, Mace, Valeria. Alana is Alana. And Smasher, but let's be real here. If you're not playing with someone else, you're gonna pick Smasher. I didn't even try the other characters. I don't know what they do. Maybe they all have special powers. I don't know. Smasher smashes things, and he's like 3 times the size of any of the other characters. And he was pretty fun. I honestly have no idea what the is going on in this game. I assume I'm part of some elite fighting force, and judging by the 10-second intro and how far I got into this game, I assume I am being sent in to stop this evil man and his elite force of Wolverine claw wielding strippers. I really like this game. It was pretty fun. It feels really good to smash things. Controls are a little wonky, but who doesn't like smashing things? Plus the music's really snazzy. I'm gonna throw this in the expect more from it later category. Asterisks. Probably when I play it with someone, so I can have some co-op shenanigans. And I'm gonna score it with a meh. Now I know what you're saying. I was just singing the praises of this game, and yet I score it with a meh. Well, let me explain to you my 5-point rating system, because I just now thought of it. So I got something good, which is the best you could possibly be. And then I got good, which doesn't make any sense next to something good, but it makes sense to me, so I'm just gonna do that. And then in the middle, you got meh. And then you got not dog shit and dog shit. So, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna be sticking with. And speaking of shit, the next game is fun as shit. Nightmare Creatures. Now, as a child, I'd only heard about this game in the hushed whispers of lunchroom conversations, and never actually played it myself until I was a little bit older. And I did play it once or twice, and I thought it was pretty good. But now that I sat down and played it, you can definitely expect more from this game later, because this honestly surprised me. And this is exactly why I decided to do this little series, so that I could discover games like
Nightmare Creatures.
Again, I really don't know what the going on. This game's really dark, both in tone and literally. It's kind of hard to see things sometimes, especially if you're playing it on a weird TV. But there's some necrophiliac guy going around in London who's raising an army of literal Nightmare Creatures. You get to choose to play as one of 2 characters, Ignacio and Nadia. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'm just gonna say Ignacio. That's not what it is. But I can't read, so it doesn't matter. He has a stick and she has a sword. I played a little bit of both of them, but I prefer Nadia because she has a sword. And in games like this, I really like the hacky slash versus beady up. I will also say that this game is a load of bullshit. Fun bullshit, but bullshit. First time you play this game, these monsters are gonna bully you like a playground bully, trying to bully you out of your lunch money. But once you get the hang of it for a little bit, you get to bully them right back and take all their lunch money instead. Naturally, there's all kinds of items, and I'm assuming magic. I didn't get that far, but there's probably magic of some kind. There's fire, I think. There is guns. I got guns. Those are pretty good. This game's pretty good. And right now, it's getting a meh. Finally, we have the clear loser of this episode. Tarzan. Correction. Walt Disney Pictures presents Tarzan. It is an incredibly basic 3D platformer with cutscenes taken straight from the movie. And don't you worry, even though I loved the movie as a child, I will not allow that nostalgia to cloud my judgment and prevent me from giving this game the proper score of not dog shit. It's like right in between not dog shit and dog shit. I didn't play it for very long because I didn't feel the need to. I have a feeling that this game isn't secretly some kind of hidden gem. I'd imagine, again, if you played this as a child, it probably would have been fun, and that's perfectly fine. Please don't copyright claim me. Like I said, the winner between these two wasn't the easiest to decide, not like the last three. But I gotta say, oh no, I smashed the winner. Nightmare Creature gets this one. Sorry.
Nightmare Creatures
Gets this one. Goodness gracious, do I got 3 gems for you to finish out this first episode? That's a damn dirty lie. I have 2 gems and Frogger. Frogger can go f himself. I hated it then, and I f***ing hate it now. In fact, I hate this game so goddamn much that when I played it as a child, it may very well be one of the sources of he who is taking your shit right now. I heard that, Tim. You're lucky I'm taking the fat note. Now, I have not allowed my inconceivable rage and hatred towards this game to block out the possibility of me seeing why people probably enjoy this game. It's fun, probably challenging in an arcadey pick up and play kind of way, and that's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm putting the game, as you've probably guessed, in the never again category, and it's flaming dog shit. Next, we have ourselves a game that taunted me as a child, but not as an adult. Rayman 2 taunted me in the sense that I always wanted it from the moment I saw that it was coming out, and then never was able to obtain it until I grew up. The only time I ever got to actually play this game were in those little demo kiosks at Walmart and Target and other department stores. Pretty sure I played this one at a Target. I only played about 45 minutes of this game, but I was pleased with what I saw. It controlled pretty good. The music was still good. Not Rayman 1 good, but still good. And the best part of all, you get to start off with the helicopter move. You don't have to get really mad at playing the first one and do a bunch of stupid crap to finally get that stupid thing. You just have it. And he's got a little, throws the balls instead of his punch. Maybe you get the punch later, I don't know. I guess maybe I'll find out when I expand upon it later, because that's where it's going in that category. And I'm gonna score it with a meh. That way I can give it a little bit of room to grow in the not meh direction. It's definitely not gonna go in the dog shit direction, I can tell you that right now. And finally, we have a game that I played a lot as a child, but only because my parents kept renting it from the store, which in retrospect probably would have saved a lot more money if they just bought it. Ape Escape. At the time, I thought, man, this art direction's pretty quirky and weird. Huh. Now, I'm like, man, this game's anime as f***. The whole point of the game is you gotta go back in time and stop these monkeys from f***ing up time. Look at all these crazy monkeys. They're f***ing with everything. You got lots of things. You got dinosaurs. You got dinosaurs. Expand upon later, dinosaurs. Hell yeah. Also, quick side note. This catfish is scary. It was also a little difficult to choose a winner from these final 3 games. Final 2 games, because Frogger. Because Ape Escape and Rayman 2 are both really good games and have a lot of promise. And it's gonna win. Yes, I will be continuing with my regularly scheduled shenanigans. Originally, I had intended to do this series in groups of just 3 in front of a green screen, but technical difficulties. Don't worry, I still have that green screen, and I'm still learning and adjusting to try to get that f***ing thing to work. It's mainly an issue of space and lighting. But now that I've done this, I kind of like this one. Sitting down and talking about 9 games. It's kind of fun. And don't you worry your pretty little heads. Yes, I'm still gonna do big TV episodes. Those take a little while for me to edit, and I can only do it in my free time. These are pretty easy for me to slap together and write the script real quick and sit down and just ramble about little piddly shit. Anyway, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, get the fuck out of my house. Woo! Greetings and salutations, friends. It's time for the best of three. Today we'll be taking a look at some games that were chosen by some friends of mine. Now, for their sake, I'm not going to use their real names. However, they'll probably know who they are based on the games that I've chosen. And if they don't, well, I'll use a code name for them, which will either be a name or a sound. There's time we're moving from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2 for these 9 humdingers. First 3 I'm going to be talking about were chosen by Brightwing. Because World of Warcraft / 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game that I am running. Now, the first game chosen has a bit of a reputation of never being talked about ever. Devil May Cry 2. Even though I own the game, I have not played very much of it in about 15 years. But I'm not going to let that or its reputation stop me. I'm going to go into this with an open mind. I want to see what all the hubbub's about. Or lack of hubbub. Yes, I've played only the first one. And the second one. I believe I played a little bit of the third Devil May Cry, but I don't remember it very well. Just like I don't remember playing the first one all that well. I do, however, remember playing that game and not getting the sawed-off shotgun the first time I played. But I'm not here to talk about that one. Now, I know who Dante is, but I don't know who this lady is. And since there's 2 discs, each disc having either Dante or the other lady, whose name I still can't remember right now, I'm gonna play Dante first. Over-the-top silly action in the opening cutscene? Check. Seems okay so far. Movement's pretty smooth. Like butter. No problems there. Well, that's a pretty cool enemy design. What's the problem? Oh, I remember now why nobody talks about this one. The AI is really silly. This game's really, really easy, which is not what I was expecting at all, given the reputation of this series. Starting to see why no one talks about this one. However, bonus points for subverting my expectations. I still don't remember who this lady is, but she has a really cool design, and her devil trigger is really neat. See? Nice things. Quick recap in case you never watched this before. This is only the second one. My scoring system consists of good, pretty good, meh, not dog shit, and dog shit. And then I put it into one of 3 categories after I score it. Definitely expand upon later, possibly expand upon later, and never, ever touch again. Unless somebody picks it. Now, I'm gonna score it with a not dog shit. Because again, I've definitely played worse before. It's not that the design, art direction, or any of that stuff is off. It's just the AI is just really dumb. The game's way too easy. And this is coming from a guy who only typically plays on easy. However, I'm going to put it in the possibly expand upon later category. Because silly. Now, the next game is a bit unique to me. If you've never watched any of my videos before, and this is the first one,
Thanks.
if you have watched them before, then you've probably heard me mention once or twice that I've never played Final Fantasy, ever. And that was 100% true. Until now. Final Fantasy X is a game that's been on my radar for quite some time. Meaning, ever since I saw it. Now, even though I only play these games for about 30-ish minutes, I know for a fact this game has a lot more to it. But that's not how this works. This game has to impress me with the time allotted. I played all the way up until the point where the giant sky anus sucks me up, and I gotta be 100% honest with you. Definitely expand upon it later. Pretty good. The music was great. The world was nice and vibrant and colorful, and all the things you'd expect from a game with fantasy in its title. Oh shit. Final Fantasy X. The final game that she decided to pick just happened to be the first fighting game that I ever sunk any amount of time into whatsoever. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. It's actually pretty funny to go back and play this and reminisce about my first experience with this game, because I didn't know anything about Mortal Kombat at all. I was just like, man, this is cool. Guy jumps out of the underworld and meets this other random wizard, and they kill this Bruce Lee guy. I had no idea that they killed the two main characters of this entire series right off the bat. This is one of those early 2000 games that has all kinds of neat extras hidden in the menu. One of which is a music video by Dima. Whoever the that is. Unfortunately, I don't have the original save block that I had for this game. But you'll have to believe me when I say I spent an entire summer unlocking everything in that stupid graveyard. But that's okay. I can get back to the basics and show how good I am at fighting games. As you can see, Scorpion's my jam, and it didn't take long for me to
Get back into the swing of things. Remembering my killer instincts.
It didn't take long for me to hand the computer its ass. So eventually the computer's like, you know what? The only way to beat fire is to throw fire at it. So he beat me with myself. Now personally, I like this game pretty much, but I only played 30 minutes of it, and that's all I had to go off of. So I'm gonna score it with a meh, and possibly expand upon later. And the winner of this trio is Final Fantasy X, because I'm gonna be honest with you, out of all the games that I've played so far, with the best of 3 series, this is the one I really want to play the most. The next 3 games were brought to you by the husband of the previous friend, who henceforth shall be known as... Breach and clear, boys! Breach and clear! Don't worry, I'll try to explain that later. First of the 3 games he's chosen is Maximo, Army of Zen. Pretty sure this is a sequel to Maximo... I have it. What's it called? Ghosts to Glory, but that's not the one we're talking about. He didn't pick that one. This is one of those games that I vaguely remember in the dilapidated rundown structure that is my memory palace. But it's made by Capcom, so fingers crossed. Gonna be real. This game's generic as f***. At least that's the vibe I was getting from it. But there's nothing wrong with that. The cartoony art style is very fun and charming, along with a lot of the sound effects. The music's kind of cheesy, but it's pretty fun. The Army of Zen was an army of robots that are powered by souls that were sealed away 500 years ago by some guy that I don't remember. And his whole family is supposed to watch over it or some shit. I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting all kinds of great value Ghosts and Goblins vibes, but Capcom made that game too, so I guess they're allowed to rip off their own stuff. This feels like the poster child for meh, if I've ever seen it. And it's gonna get a possibly later. This next game is a bit unique because I am very familiar with the source material. However, I have never actually played a game of said source material. Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles. Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles. Sorry. I must say, right off the bat, they do a very good job of capturing the feel of Naruto. The controls are pretty good and it feels very fluid to Kagibun Si no Jutsu. However, other than that, it's pretty much dog shit. Maybe there's more to this game, maybe there's not. I don't know. I played it for about 30 minutes. Didn't impress me in that amount of time. I don't know. I'm never gonna play this again. Now I'm gonna try to explain that voice real quick and why he is known as Breach and Clear. You see, me and my friends like to play a game called Warhammer 40,000. And we all play a variety of armies, most of the time. And he has decided he wants to start playing for the greater good. And we couldn't decide on how the greater good sounds, so he just started talking like this, boys. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm gonna play Tau Fire Warrior, because in his words, not mine, I'm gonna get you to play Tau one way or another, sir. Now, I don't know the exact time frame that this game was originally released, but I got a sneaking suspicion it probably came out around the same time that the Tau first came out. However, I could be wrong. But judging by this very old and very dated Games Workshop ad within the game, I'd say I'm probably right. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters, and you're probably gonna hear me say that a lot on this channel. And then play several first-person shooters, because there are exceptions. But I'm gonna try to put that aside and give this game a fair shake. And I'm gonna try to ignore the fact that I don't like fish people, because I'm allergic. All joking aside though, it's pretty meh. It kinda sorta captures the feel of the 41st millennium, I guess from the perspective of the Tau, but it was pretty average. Like, really average. Like, forget what I said about Maximo being the poster child for meh. This one's probably the poster child for first person meh. However, I am going to put it in the possibly expand upon later category, because I might be able to get some sillies out of this. Maximo Army Zin's gonna win this triple threat. Alright, buckaroonies, these last 3 games were chosen by my friend Goliath Fawcett. You're not supposed to understand that. Hopefully he gets it and has a good chuckle. Now, first game he chose has also been on my radar for quite some time, especially since I was a child and first found the movie. And it became my favorite movie very quickly. The Thing. Frankenstein is my favorite book. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, is my favorite movie. Resident Evil is my favorite video game series. See the correlation? This game just oozes early 2000s era horror video games. And from the very small amount that I did happen to play, it captured the feeling of John Carpenter's The Thing very, very nicely. In fact, it captured the feel of the movie so perfectly that I couldn't take any chances. And I just went ahead and killed everybody, because I know I'm not the Thing. Now I know what you're saying. Tim just spilled his guts about how much he loves this genre and style of game, and how The Thing is his favorite movie. There's no way he's going to give it a fair shake. He's going to give it the best score possible, and we're all going to screech at him. Well, you'd be wrong. This game's getting a meh, because it's pretty meh, at least from what I played. However, I will 100% be expanded upon it later, because I already plan to do that. Mr. Fawcett just allowed me to play it a little sooner and confirm my suspicions. Even though I gave it a meh, when I play it in full eventually, I'm sure it'll probably lean in the something good direction. But not too good. Almost good, if you will. Almost Good being the title of another series I plan to do here soon. Wow, Tim, you're really killing it with these titles, aren't you, bud? You're not supposed to be on these. You're right, you're right. You know where I'll be. Now, while we're on the subject of SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, I used to watch wrestling back in the day. I don't really watch it anymore. I played SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 and 2008 a lot. Like a lot. But this is the first time I've ever played SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, so I was kind of excited. You can have the AIs fight each other, so that's pretty cool. Can't do that in a lot of games. So I just hit random on both, and we're gonna have ourselves a match of Hulk Hogan versus Paul London, of which Paul London wins because eventually the AI just got sick of fighting Hulk Hogan and hit him with a chair. It's honestly pretty funny. This game's meh. And never plan on playing this particular SmackDown vs. Raw ever again. Maybe the other ones. And finally we come to Mr. Fawcett's final pick. Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Out of the big 3 Mortal Kombat games that were on the PlayStation 2 era, I never played Armageddon. I only played Deadly Alliance and Deception, so this was a new experience for me. I'm in a pickle. I don't know whether or not to give this a meh or a not dog shit. It's not dog shit. I'm gonna give it a not dog shit. Mainly because the opening cinematic is pretty neat. And it's got a large selection of characters. It has this mini kart racing thing, which was really bad. Yeah, it's getting a not dog shit. And I'm never playing this again. Even though I enjoy old wrestling stuff, I gotta give this one to The Thing, obviously. Much like Final Fantasy X, this game seems to have a lot of potential, especially for longer form videos. So I'm looking forward to this. Don't let me down. Like I said, eventually I'll get to those two. Final Fantasy X and The Thing in long form videos, but don't hold your breath, because I got lots of other stuff ahead of that. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Now, get the fuck out of my house. Let there be light! Greetings and salutations, friends! It's time for the final best of 3. Not really. There's gonna be more. They're just gonna be different. Are you going to start finally calling it the best of 9 because there's 9 games? I know it's not gonna change. You're not gonna be a part of this. Now get out of here! Tim, it's much harder to leave now. You should have thought of that before you got sassy with me. Idiot. At least the toilet's closer. If you've been following this from the start, then thank you. If not, I keep talking about wanting to do these on a green screen and never doing them on a green screen. Don't worry now, that's never gonna happen. Ooh, the Benadryl is strong with this one. Anyway, I've decided to keep the green screen for very, very special occasions. But this is the final best of 3 in terms of picking random games. My friends. This will be the last best of 3 with 9 games. Because as you can see, I have a lot less games now for reasons. Life. That's okay. That's perfectly fine because I got another idea for this series. Still probably only going to give out one a year. Maybe two if I'm feeling feisty. The next time I do this, it will be with only 3 games. Played in their entirety. And they will truly be judged to see who is the best of 3. But right now, I'm going to stick to the old formula. Rating system. I don't write these down. I try to remember them. Okay, so you got dog shit, not dog shit, meh. This one, and this one. For this episode, we'll be doing the original Xbox. When I asked my friends to do this, I didn't specify. I thought they would pick them based on their potential hilarity. As you will see with one of them, there's no competition. But don't you worry your pretty little heads, I intend to erase everything I knew about these games in order to judge them fairly based upon only the small amount of time that I play of them. First 3 were chosen by the most loyal of loyal Imperial boys. He knows who he is. And the first game he chose was... I only have one of these now. Turok Evolution. Now I'm going to be upfront and honest with everybody. I love dinosaurs. And I've never played a Turok game. Yeah. This is the first one I ever played. I have no idea what's going on. Something about cowboys and Native Americans and the West and time travel. And some Land of the Lost bullshit happens. And by the way, when I say I have no idea what's going on, serious hat, serious talk, I have no idea what's going on. None. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea where I am. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I figured out I have a bow. There's dinosaur people. And then I got killed by a raptor. Okay. We'll talk about that for a second. It gets really itchy. It's getting a not dog shit. For one reason only. Because I like dinosaurs.
Next game.
You see, in the far future of the 41st millennium, there is only war. I mean, in a galaxy far, far away, there is a lot of war. Because the next game he picked was Republic Commando. Here, because I also don't have that anymore. You're the leader of an elite squad of commandos, each with their own specific tasks and skill set. And they're not fodder, so they actually know how to do those jobs. I got a feeling this game's a lot better with co-op, not just by yourself. But it does have AI commands to tell the guys what to do, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, I remember the other thing I do. I'm never playing Turok again. Sorry. Not gonna happen. However, I will be planning to expand upon this game later, should I ever acquire it again. And it's getting a meh. Because it's pretty meh. Now, unfortunately for Republic Commando, even though it's a decent game, and it's much better than Turok, it would have won, should it have just been between it and Turok, but it wasn't. You see, the third game that he picked was this little niche title. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. I got concrete floors now! Are you shattered into a million pieces? No. Okay, good. This little niche title that no one... I'm going to expose it right here, just so you know. It's a pretty fun game. It's called Halo. Combat Evolved. Listen to that. Even only playing a few minutes of these games, it's not even a little close. It's Halo. Of course it wins. It will be getting its own episode. I already planned on doing that. Getting the best possible rating. This one. It's a variation of a pug.
Man, the Benadryl's strong with this one.
And yeah, this video is gonna have a copyright on it because I'm gonna use the Halo music. Can't stop me. These next 3 Xbox games were chosen by another good friend of mine, Doss Lore. Hopefully he remembers that joke. First of which is Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. Now going into this, I heard a lot about these games. I never grew up playing them, but I knew a lot of people who did, and everyone says that the Two Towers and Return of the King are actually really good games. And I can see what they're talking about. That's a joke. I can't see anything. Yeah, it'd probably be different if I changed the settings on the TV and all kinds of stuff, but that's not how this works. You see, the way this works is I put the game in the console, I plug the console into a TV through a little adapter and then record it and do all that kind of fancy stuff. However, it's not my job to adjust anything. If you look like crap from the beginning, that's not my fault. And for all you people that are saying you can play it on an emulator or a better TV, I got news for you. I can't read. Despite all that, I did have fun with it, and it was pretty neato. If I ever get it again, I might expand upon later, but it's getting a meh. No, it's not getting a meh. It's getting a dog shit. I can't say anything. Next is Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. Shazam! Now, in case anyone was wondering, yes, I am a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, so naturally you'd think I'd enjoy this game. You're right.
I do.
Very cheesy and corny, but in a neat 70s, 80s fantasy kind of way. Sometimes you just need to plug a game in and just kill things for no reason at all. This game has a necromancer. Expand upon later whenever I acquire it again. I'm gonna score with a meh, because let's be honest, it just made me want to play Diablo, and this is not Diablo. And finally, we have yet another clear winner in a batch of games that shouldn't be facing each other. I do have this one still. See, I kept the good ones. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. I'm gonna go ahead and expand upon later because I already planned on doing a video on this because this is the only Oddworld game I've actually ever played. And I had a blast. The game is a perfect balance of fun and humor, challenge, and kill everything. Stranger is a bounty hunter in the wild, wild west of Oddworld. And he shoots critters with a crossbow. And now, the final trio were chosen by he told me to call him that. Yeah. He picked 2 well-known bangers and 1 not-so-known to me, but I'm glad he picked it. Even though I don't have it anymore. Voodoo Vince? This game is a neat little platformer where you play as Vince, a living voodoo doll who's tasked with saving his master from an evil shyster. Honestly, this game operates exactly the way I thought it would. You're a voodoo doll. He does things to himself, and it does things to his enemies. And it's a neat, fun little platformer. It's pretty good. He's getting us something good. And expand upon later, should I ever acquire it again. The next game he chose was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which I've never played before. I know you're getting tired of me saying I've never played these games that are genre and generational defining, but it's true. I haven't. You see, when everyone else was playing all these cool, fun games, you know what I was playing? This is where you expect me to say something really stupid, but no, I was just playing World of Warcraft. I play World of Warcraft a lot. Don't you worry, I still got it. Can you judge a game this big and this epic based only upon 30 minutes of playing it? Well, I did. Pacing wasn't like super action heavy or anything like that, even though a ship's being attacked and all kinds of cool stuff's going on. But it's... I don't know how to explain it. It's just pretty good. And definitely expand upon later, because Star Wars is neat. And finally, this final game I also still have is Doom 3 for the Xbox, specifically the Collector's Edition. Why does that matter, you ask? Because it's got a neat video from G4. From back in the day, along with several other neat videos. The game is dark, gritty, atmospheric, and really, really scary. But not for the whole game, if I remember correctly. I'm not supposed to be remembering any of the past stuff. The first part was scary and spooky and atmospheric. So it's getting out pretty good. This is really only a competition between Knights of the Old Republic and Doom 3. And I'm going to give it a Knights of the Old Republic. Well, I hope, as always, everyone's having a fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Now, you know the drill. Get the fuck out of my house. Hi. Man, Tim, you're the king of consistency. You shut the heck up! I'll do whatever I darn doodly wanting to. All right then, Ned. I'm off to take a dump. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Timothy Fiddle, and Mr. Grumpy Gus is the namesake of this channel. He likes to be called Lord Voldemort. Although he's not a lord of anything anymore. More like Lord of the Turlet. And this is my mystical, magical corner of imagination. It's powered by the unbridled might of nostalgia and Benadryl. So, as my colleague was making fun of me and about to mock me earlier, last time I did this, I said a couple things that aren't true. I said this would be the last one I would be doing with more than 3 games. And that I would only do 3 games in their entirety. Blah. I want you to ignore everything that I say. If there's one thing that I am, it's allergic to everything. Therefore, I'm on that pink medicine all the time. And most of the time, I don't know where I am. But I'm trying. I'll be consistent at some point. But for now, I got the sniffles. However, what is the same is the rules for these. They may change based on a different variation, but for this variation, they're the same. I had to make this one with 6 because I still had a lot of unused footage from when I planned on doing these originally. And I don't have a lot of these games anymore, so, yeah, I figured I'd get them out of the way. Get them all out of the way. So basically what happens is 3 games are chosen off my shelf. And then I play them for an indiscriminate amount of time, usually 30 to 40 minutes-ish. Sometimes an hour, depending on the game or whatever. And then I rate them with my patent-pending puppy dog scale. Dog shit, not dog shit, meh. Something good and good. Or it's good and something good. I don't remember. Those two might be mixed up. Secondly, I give them a secondary score. Definitely expand upon later. Possibly expand upon later. And never touch again. And those are in no way tied to the previous scale. So, for example, if I give something a dog shit, I may choose to definitely expand upon later because I think it'll get some good sillies. Today I'll be doing 6 games from the PlayStation 2 that I no longer have. I've had this footage for about 2 years. But just to give you an example of how goober my brain works. Yeah. Now originally I had my friends pick the games and I didn't know what they picked until I saw them. So I know what you're asking. I picked these games. How did you do so randomly? Well, so I took them and grouped them into 2 groups of 6. The first game of the first trio is Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Now, I really like Gauntlet Dark Legacy. But as you know, my middle name is Timothy Unbiased Fiddle. So instead of playing my character that I've had since high school, it's supposed to say Spyro, but I can't read, I made a new character with a completely random name and played through the first level. This is an extremely simple and straightforward arcade dungeon kill everything game. Does that mean it bad? No. Sometimes you just need a little break from all that Baldur's Gating and Diablo 2ing and Elden Ringing. And just pick a fancy color, pick a weird class that doesn't really mean anything, and just kill everything. Gameplay is simple and fun, and the music is pretty neato. And the game itself is very colorful, something that I always enjoy. It's getting a good, and I definitely expand upon it later, because I already had plans for that. I like it so much I have it on 2 consoles. The next game is Hunter Wayward for the PlayStation 2. Basically, this is the same kind of game that I just played, except set in the grim world of darkness. Not that one, the first one. All these classes are basically the ones from the tabletop games. They all do different stuff. It's kind of neat. But honestly, the controls are really weird. They're not bad, they're just weird. I don't know how to explain it. The game's getting a meh, and a possibly expand upon later. Should I acquire it again? And the last of the first 3 is Rune, Viking Warlord. This game is set in the Viking times and was clearly the inspiration for God of War 2018. That's a lie. This game is really goober. That is the best way to describe it. Goober. Now, seeing this, I can tell you that the controls are not what you think they would be. It has first-person shooter controls, and it's really weird, but it works somehow. It's very odd. And I also find it hilarious that the PlayStation 2 had trouble with this scene. It's getting a not dog shit, and a possibly expand upon later, because I got me a feeling that this game has got more to give. Oh, and then when I do the 3 games, I pick a winner of the 3 games. It's Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Surprise, surprise. Now on to the next 3. First of the next 3 games is Aeon Flux, and I gotta be honest with you, I'd never heard of this at all, and I didn't realize Aeon Flux was a thing before that movie that came out in 2005. And not only that, the game was surprisingly good. Yes. Really. But I'm gonna give it a meh, because room to grow. And possibly expand upon later, should I acquire it again. Next up is Hitman 2. This was my first time playing any of the Hitman games ever. And this was the first time in this series, the best of 3, that I had serious time, serious hat. Well, I have the serious hat on, that means you know there's no sillies. Not that I've never been serious without the hat on before, but this is just so you know what I'm about to say, even though it may seem sarcastic, is 100% Captain Crunch. This is the first time in this series I actually had to stop myself from playing the game. That's how much fun I had. It's getting a good, and a definitely expand upon later. However, I will say, I'm not a very good hitman. And finally, Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. Now, as you may or may not know, this is one of my favorite games of all time. But as I said earlier, my middle name is unbiased. So, in order to give the other two a fighting chance, I made an exception to the rules. I put my memory card in. And I played one of the profiles. And one of the profiles was right next to a certain place in that game that I do not like at all. So, based upon that gameplay and that gameplay alone, it's getting a not dog shit. And possibly expand upon later, because I always like going back to stuff I like. And the winner of these three was Hitman 2, although Aeon Flux was an interesting close second. Oh, by the way, fools, goobers, absolute buffoons. I'm a dirty liar. I got 6 more games to talk about that I had recorded previously. Ha 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 ha! Got him. And look at this. The way I originally intended to do them. These are the selections of 2 friends of mine. Ha 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 2! One of whom chose games from the PlayStation 1, the other, PlayStation 2. First of which is someone who's already chosen games. Settle yourselves, that is what he wanted me to call him. The first game he chose was King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong. The clarification does matter. Now, I like that movie, and believe it or not, I remember liking this game when it first came out. I remember a lot of people liking this game when it first came out. For the Xbox 360, as for the PlayStation 2 version, it is most definitely a downgrade. First and foremost, it's a first-person shooter, and for those of you who don't know, I don't care for first-person shooters, because I'm bad at them. But, props for realism. There's no HUD, and you gotta listen for your character talk about the ammo count, which is a pretty neat touch too. Unfortunately, you can only see stuff when you're outside. You know how this works. I put the game in, I plug it into TV. If it's too dark, that's the game's fault, not mine. It's really not that bad though. It's getting to meh. And I'm never gonna play it again. Because anything that has more than 6 legs can go itself. Next is Resident Evil Outbreak. Yes, I like Resident Evil. And no, I don't have this game anymore. It didn't survive the purge. And to be honest, I've never actually really sat down and played it until now. I've usually just watched other people do so. The first level is exactly how I remember it though. Chaotic, scary, and confusing. Each character has something special they can do. For example, David is a plumber and has duct tape and can duct tape stuff together and make items, I think. I'm not sure. I didn't play that much of this game because I died pretty quick. It's getting a meh because it's pretty meh. But possibly expand upon later, should I ever acquire it again. And finally, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You know, it's funny. I remember movie games having a really bad rap. But I also remember several movie games being fairly decent. So, yeah, including this one. I just played another one 2 games ago that was pretty decent. Except the bugs. The literal ones, not the game ones. This is just a straightforward hack and slash. It follows the movie pretty closely, I guess. I assume. I have beaten the game, but I'm trying to kill that memory currently. And just focus on the little bit that I played. It's getting good. And possibly expand upon later. And as for the winner of this trio, it was difficult, kind of. But not really, because I only scored 1 with a good. So Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. Because the music is good. For those of you who are unaware, or if this is the first one you're watching, I made a joke in the last one that I had assumed that when I told my friends to pick games off the shelves, that they would pick them based on their hilarity. Most of them kinda did that. Some of them didn't. Some of them picked incredibly good games that still won because they're incredibly good. However, that guy, he knows who he is. That guy didn't get the memo either. And he picked 3 pretty good games, or at least that's what their reputations have told me, because I haven't played either 3 of them. First game he chose, I don't own anymore, but it's not really that big of a deal because I could probably go out and buy one anytime I want. Final Fantasy VII. Now what you're looking at is me thinking the game is broken, or my controller is broken. I'm not used to games having their primary button be anything other than the X button. My memory serves me, because I don't have the game in front of me anymore. You do things in Final Fantasy with circle. And now to judge the quality of this game that everyone loves based on merely 30 minutes. It's very cinematic. The music is really good. Gameplay's neat. And everything was really fun. It's getting a good, and it definitely expand upon later. Congratulations, FF7 fans. Your game is, the next game is Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. What is going on? This is a platformer, puzzle, adventure game? Yes? I don't know what it's qualified as, but it's very clever. And it's very stylized, which is always a good thing. However, I only played about 30 minutes of it, so it's getting a meh. But I definitely expand upon later once I acquire it for the second time. Hell, I may just play the remaster because everything and their mother getting a remaster these days, which is fine because it's just the same game. It just looks better. And in some cases, plays a little nicer. Which is exactly the same case for the next game. Soul Reaver. Legacy of Kain. Sorry, I got distracted by the f***ing movie playing on my PlayStation. The game is actually really fun for what I played, which is nice. And the Legacy of Kain series is one I've never touched before, either. It's just another one of those ones that someone else would play and I would watch them play while peeking up from my Game Boy Advance while playing Pokemon. It's getting pretty good. And 100% definitely expand upon it later. Now, the winner of this trio of games, even though Soul Reaver got a pretty good, Final Fantasy's gonna win, because that one's the least likely one I would want to play out of these 3. And it managed to hook me in that way. So kudos for getting me to want to play a game that I wouldn't normally want to play. From henceforth, the best of 3 shall be done however the hell I want to do it. Sometimes I will only do 3 games in front of a green screen. Sometimes I'll be sitting at the desk for a much longer conversation. Sometimes I will mix them. Who knows? That squirrel in my brain doesn't. As always, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day.